Hey guys. So I actually did end up buying 50 Shades of Grey. For those of you who don't know what it is, it's this really popular romance book that everyone's really into. And you've probably seen quotes online, and they are really that bad. But the back of the book reads, when literature student Anastasia Steele goes to interview young entrepreneur Christian Grey, she encounters a man who is beautiful, brilliant, and intimidating. The unworldly, innocent Anna is startled to realize she wants this man, and, despite his enigmatic reserve, finds she is desperate to get close with him. Unable to resist Anna's quiet beauty, wit, and independent spirit, Grey admits he wants her too, but on his own terms. Shocked yet thrilled by Grey's singular erotic tastes, Anna hesitates. For all the trappings of success, his multinational businesses, his vast wealth, his loving family, Grey is a man tormented by demons and consumed by the need to control. When the couple embarks on a daring, passionately physical affair, Anna discovers Christian Grey's secrets and explores her own dark desires. Erotic, amusing, and deeply moving, the 50 Shades trilogy is a tale that will obsess you, possess you, and stay with you forever. As if that doesn't sound creepy enough. So I decided to embark on this journey of reading this book. So I tried going to all these secondhand bookshops in order to find it, but I couldn't find it anywhere because I guess women hold on to this, just like people don't automatically delete porn off of their computer after watching. So started reading it, and I didn't even get to the first page before I got super creeped out. So you get past the title page, and then you get to this page, and it reads, "For Neil, the master of my universe." And that's kind of really creepy as it is. Master of the universe, calling your husband that. And then I was looking at trivia about Miss E.L. James, the author, and apparently she's the author of the Twilight fanfiction story Master of the Universe, published on fanfiction.net in her own blog between 2009 and 11, and it was penned under the name Snow's Queen Ice Dragon. Yeah, so moving onward. So we get introduced to these three characters, the three main ones being Anastasia Steele, I guess the heroine of the book, and she's a pale, brown-haired girl with blue eyes too big for her face. And she's really cynical all the time and has really bad swinging moods that is really frustrating because you're just reading and for no good reason she gets all upset and you're just like, what? And then she has this roommate slash best friend named Catherine Kavanaugh, who's gorgeous, has strawberry blonde hair and bright green eyes, and she kind of, she refers to her in a very weird way. She's always like, I stare at her fondly. Only for you, Kate, would I do this. It's kind of all right. So the first chapter is about Kate sick, and she asks Anastasia to go do this interview for her. And Anastasia is going to interview the enigmatic CEO of Grey Enterprises Holdings. And she says that she says, with some mega industrial tycoon I've never heard of. And throughout the chapter she keeps saying that she doesn't know anything about this guy whatsoever several times. I know nothing about him, things like that. I know nothing about this man that I'm about to interview, blah blah blah. But then, as soon as she says this, she then says, as an exceptional entrepreneur and major benefactor of our university. And it's okay, how do you know this if you don't know anything about him? But yeah. And so later on, so she goes to this interview to go interview him things, knowing nothing about him with all these questions that Catherine has given her and that she hasn't read whatsoever. So she packs up her backpack, which is kind of weird to take to a professional interview, I thought anyway. And so she goes in and she's all cynical because she sees all these really pretty looking women and whatnot. And then she gets all oh, surely it's obvious I'm just visiting. I don't fit in here at all. Nothing's changed. I inwardly sigh. It's just kind of whatever, chill out. So she goes up, and then she sees him, and of course, she stumbles through the door into his office, And then she sees him, so young and attractive, very attractive. He's tall, dressed in a fine gray suit, white shirt, and black tie with unruly dark copper-colored hair and intense bright gray eyes that regard me shrewdly. Takes me a moment to find my voice. And then she's just like absolutely enamored by him and states that as our fingers touch, I feel an odd exhilarating shiver through me. I withdraw my hand hastily, embarrassed. Must be static. It's not static. Chill out. I don't know. I tried to come into this unbiased, but I had already read so much about it. But honestly, it isn't too bad so far. So far, it's just really laughable. Like, the whole time I've been laughing and kind of face-palming. And I suffer from secondhand embarrassment really badly, so I'm just kind of, like, hiding while reading this. Okay, so during the interview process, she's talking to him and whatnot, and she's asking him all these really awkward questions. Like, she ends up asking him things like, are you gay? And before she even reads it, and it's just kind of like, that's not really appropriate, but alright. But, like, she's talking to him, and she plucks up the courage to look at him, and he's watching me, one hand relaxed in his lap and the other cupping his chin and trailing his long finger across his lips. And it's very obvious what's going on, and you kind of wonder, how do you cup your chin and trail your index finger around your lips without looking really stupid? But, so the dialogue is also just kind of really awkward and really formal. Like, even when Anastasia's talking to her friend Kate in the beginning, she asks things like, of course I'll go, Kate. You should get back to bed. Would you like some NyQuil or Tylenol? Okay, I'm going. Get back to bed. I made you some soup to heat up later. It's just really kind of weird and awkward. So during the whole time she's interviewing him, she's kind of like all flustered and stammering and whatnot. And she's getting all flushed because he's like teasing her. And then, let's see. Like, she just starts saying things that aren't on Kate's list, and then he's like, oh gosh, this woman, she's so interesting because she's talking back, and it's just really kind of stupid. But the other thing that really bothers me about reading the actual narrative itself is that, firstly, it's in first person, which is kind of like, because then people can easily place themselves in the situation, and it's just kind of weak. She also uses present tense for everything, which is really awkward, I find anyway. So that just kind of makes me all weird. Then she also asks a ton of questions in the narrative. Like, every other sentence is a question. Like, she's questioning herself. Like, he's teasing me? And all this other stuff going on. Like, why is he doing this? I don't know what's going on. Does he really think of me that way? And just kind of, it's really weird and not really professionally written. Like, I guess it's okay, but kind of bothers me. And just the way she speaks. Like, at one point, he says something to her, and his gaze is intense, all humor gone, and strange muscles deep in my belly clench suddenly, and it's like, oh, come on. Really? Really? What's going on? What's going on? Other than that, the first chapter was kind of okay. It was just kind of, like, really awkward, and having to read about her interview process and how she was all embarrassed and whatnot. And, I saw online, when I was reading quotes about it, that people keep a count of certain words and certain phrases, like E.L. James uses the word murmur and mutters a lot. There's a lot of arching of the eyebrows and cocking of the head and shrugging and blushing and rolling of the eyes. And so I think the first chapter is like 11 pages long, and you get to 6 raising of the eyebrows, 3 murmurings, 3 cocking of the heads to the side. What else? Yeah. So it's already off to a pretty decent start. So we end the chapter with Anastasia finishing the interview and Christian Grey pretty much offering her an internship in his place, in his big corporation and whatnot. And then they're all on first name terms with one another. And then she's like, I hope I never see him again. And then that's the end of the chapter. So that's all I have so far. And hopefully soon we will have a vlog on chapter 2.